Welcome to 10 Minutes. I'm Tony Scott. Today's show is brought to you by Gentry Academy. Today we'll have Megan Stone in studio to talk about what is new at the school. Before we sit down with Megan, let's talk about what happened around the rink last weekend. Team USA is off to a 3-0 start in the U18 World Juniors. Minnesotans Kiefer Bellows, Joey Anderson, and Casey Middleset have clogged the score sheet with points in all 3 games. Also of note, Lakeville's Jake Ottinger had a huge save in their first game against Russia when the score was tied 2-2. On the local scene, a huge shout out to Caden Bolson from Wilmer, who committed yesterday to the University of Minnesota. Bolson, who was a point-a-game player last season for Shattuck St. Mary's Bantam team that won the national championship in Alaska. I first saw Caden play in 2011 for the Minnesota Blades. Back then, his size, shooting, and raw ability were very noticeable. Congrats to you, Caden. On Sunday, we saw a great game at Ritter between 2003 Euro Red and the Steel Dogs. Both teams are top 5 type teams in the state with some nice talent. The Reds won the game 6-5 in overtime, but I think they left the rink with a lot of respect for the Dogs, who carried the play for most of the second and third period. Hats off to the line of Henry Edebeck, Justin Janicki, and Ethan Elias from the Euros. They poured in 5 of their 6 goals, including the game-tying and game-winning goal by Nelson. Both the Steel Dogs and Euros are slated to play in the YHH state tournament later in August. I apologize to one of my favorite players, William Whitelaw, who was neglected to mention as a finalist during our Whiz Wyatt Award presentation last week. There was a cut and paste user error on my part. So here's my apology to you, William. We'll read it all alone right now, right here on 10 Minutes. William Whitelaw, Rosemount. William is one of the most skilled players in the state at any age level. Besides his skill, he has an incredible compete level every time he hits the ice, which makes him really fun to watch. To no one's surprise, William is also a great lacrosse player in Rosemount. The Minnesota Meltdown is this weekend, where 194 teams will be competing all over the Twin Cities at the invite and open level. There are some interesting matchups in store at all of the invite levels. One that stands out to me is on Saturday between Team Gradient will take on the Colorado Kodiaks at the O3 level. Head coach Dave Fromm always brings a nice group of Colorado skaters to the Twin Cities. It will be interesting to see if they can compete with Team Gradient. We're joined today with Megan Stone from Gentry Academy. Thanks for joining us today, Megan.
Thanks for having me.
All right, a lot to cover here in a short amount of time, so let's get right to it. You guys had open houses last week. Tell me about how those went.
Yes, we had 2 open houses last week. We had over 40 families that came to look at how our school is changing and growing. And
were they hockey, dancers, lacrosse, everything?
It was across the board. Everyone was able to speak about their discipline, whether it be leadership or academics or their sports. And I have to say, the one word that I come away with is passion. We all have such extreme passion for our expertise, but also in helping kids to become their best through that. And it is just so exciting to see and be a part of.
It's fun when you can see it in their eyes,
yeah.
Not just what they're saying.
Right. It was super exciting. So passion rounds up those nights for sure.
So you got some shadow days coming up. Talk about what are those dates on those?
The 2 shadow days we have are April 27th and May 18th, but they're a little different now that our school is changing and we're offering more than just hockey for our win time, our afternoon time. Those shadow days you can either do dance or lacrosse, golf, or hockey. So they come and have a leadership class, have lunch, and then can participate in one of those activities that they would then next year be doing during their win time.
And they can register to sign up for these shadow days on the website?
All online, yep.
GentryAcademy.com.
Exactly.
All right, now next, we're rolling right there too. So what's going on in the classroom right now at Gentry at the school?
Well, we're getting ready to do state testing as well as...
This is a really exciting time.
It's super exciting. You know, we like to take this opportunity not necessarily just to look at how can I get a better test score, but again, with that idea of leadership and ownership over their school experience, help them to learn how to prep for an exam. What does it mean to sit for a longer period of time and take a standardized test and deal with anxiety that may pop up with that? And I think that's a really good life lesson that all kids need to learn.
And standardized tests are kind of on the forefront right now in the news about kids not taking them and all those things. So that'd be probably a good teachable moment for the kids too.
It definitely is. So it's a good time for us to have ultimate learning of the experience, as well as hopefully them performing well, because that makes them feel good.
Sure. Okay, so you got another tournament coming up. You got the fantasy hockey thing going, but you got another tournament. Tell me about that tournament.
Yes, so we're kind of we're doing our draft right now and doing the statistical math part of it, but now we're gearing up to do our Teach with Tournaments, which was created by Josh Hoekstra, which is another hockey guy, and it is a great curriculum that incorporates having one president versus another president. So each child has a president from our history, and they have to battle it out and persuade the rest of us to believe their president was the best president ever.
And last year you did an invention, correct?
Last
what
year
was
we
the
did
invention? It was like a can opener.
It was a
wasn't
can
it?
opener,
Yeah,
won the
wow.
best
Yeah.
persuasive, best invention ever. So it
love
would be
it.
fun to see who ultimately wins the best president.
All right, so the hockey team, they still do hockey at the school, correct?
yes,
All right. The hockey team that will be coming next year, the Galaxy, has
Yes.
their first tryouts. Tell me a little bit about those.
Yeah, so their first tryout actually now is going to be in May 23rd and 24th, and then there'll be other tryouts in June and July. And you can
Okay.
go to the website to check and sign up for those as well.
All right, cool. All right, last but not least, let's talk about your expertise, leadership.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about one of the things that you're working on, like this week or coming up in the future with the leadership portion of the school.
Well, every day we really do try to focus on that. And again, that really came out in the open house, that in all the disciplines, we really tried to bring it back to that idea of how can these kids learn from their experiences. Right now we're talking about kindness, and we have very competitive children at our school, and that's a great thing. And they're competitive against themselves in school, which is an awesome thing to see. It's really cool to be smart and try your best at our school, as well as on the ice, and next year, on the fields, another thing as well. But I really think we need to talk about how you can be kind and competitive at the same time, and how you can push yourself to be your best and even be better than the next person, and that's fine to be competitive, but how to do that in a kind way. So we are spending, we did a little bit last week, and the rest of this week we're going to talk about kindness.
I bet it's really valuable, especially I've coached a lot of hockey, been around a lot of hockey in a practice setting, just to have that kind of ingrained to someone's head. Because how many times kids are shooting pucks and hit another kid, or butt in line, or take someone's puck, or those kinds of things. So I bet it's really valuable to, going on the ice, or all those kind of things, and kind of learning what it's all about to be a good teammate.
It is, and even giving back and saying thank you. So there's little acts of kindness that can be just a thank you, and we even had kids write thank yous to people that encouraged them over the year earlier.
That's really good.
So it's been a really great year, and it's been great to see how these kids have grown, not only academically but leadership, and I'm sure they're getting a lot of great stuff on the ice as well, because we have great staff over there, and so it's they're growing in all their areas, and it's fun to see.
Great hockey people. All right, it's time to do some game pucks.
Yep.
You get to go first. You have your turn, and I'll finish this off.
So my game puck actually goes out to all the teachers, with it being spring, and
Kids are crazy, right?
They're a little crazy, and
That
so
doesn't mean you get an excuse to be crazy.
no,
They just are crazy.
And we all want to be outside as well. We understand that, but just to keep it going throughout the end of the year, and for all those teachers out there that are doing a great job.
So as a teacher yourself, do you count the days until it's over? Because I have 3 kids, and I get a daily count of how many days left of school.
I actually don't count till it's over, in the sense that I want it to be over. I count how many more days do I have to instruct them.
Oh, good
So,
answer. Good
I
spin.
do.
I like it.
I
like
do.
it. I'm sure. All right. So my game puck, I got to be a teacher the last 2 weekends.
Yes,
I
you
had
did.
the Great Plains team who's playing in the show this year. So I got to spend 8 hours a day with those guys. And what a wonderful group of 05 kids that I got to work with. So the game puck goes out to all those kids who are on that team, and I got to work with, and we'll do some leadership with them and teamwork stuff with them. It was just a real pleasure to work with these kids,
fun.
and I'm really looking forward to seeing how well our team does this summer. So for Megan Stone, I'm Tony Scott. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.